The Michigan Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh has been suspended by the Big Ten in what seems to be the Big Ten being run by a mob. Yes, that's kind of the vibes I'm getting here, because all of a sudden the Big Ten has been able to dictate if a coach or a school gets a suspension on something that they don't like. Now, although the Michigan sign stealing investigation, listen, it's not pretty, but it also, I don't feel like is as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, because at the end of the day, Michigan still has to be able to go out there and stop those plays. And some of the times they were not able to do it. And when you're going up against elite teams like Ohio State, sometimes talent is just going to be able to overcome it, even if you know what plays they are. It's not like, I don't know if you guys have watched the video of that Clemson, or the movie of that Clemson safety. And remember, he's got the brother in the movie, and they watch him tug on the jersey every time he runs, right? So they know anytime that running back goes to tug on the jersey, he's going to run the ball. I don't feel like this is like that. That's not like what this is at all. However, man, I'm really asking myself right now, can Michigan be penalized twice? Once by the conference and then by the NCAA? Has the Big Ten pretty much screwed this entire investigation at this point? Because, I mean, we have due process in just our court system. You can't try somebody twice for the same offense. And I'm kind of wondering if that's going to be the same case here. So because the Big Ten is pissed off because Michigan stole their signs, they're pretty much going to ruin it now. They're going to ruin the investigation by handing out, I mean, depending on who you talk to, it's a harsh penalty, but I feel like it's a pretty soft penalty because, I mean, it's only till the end of the regular season, and I think Michigan's still good enough to beat every team on their schedule on the way to a Big Ten championship to the college football playoffs, where he could return for both of those. So let's look at the timeline here. October 19th, the NCAA announces its investigation into Michigan for sign stealing. Yeah, sign stealing. October 20th, Michigan suspends analyst Connor Stallions. For those of you who are not caught up for some reason, if you've lived under a rock, Connor Stallions is the analyst for Michigan that was purchasing tickets to other teams' games, sitting in the stands, or hiring people to sit in the stands and basically film other teams' signs. November 3rd, Connor Stallions resigned from his position at the University of Michigan. November 6th, the Big Ten sends a notice of potential discipline to the University of Michigan. And then 4 days later, today, the Big Ten suspends Jim Harbaugh for the regular season. And again, this new commissioner, I feel like his conference is running him like a mob. They decided they didn't like Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines getting away for the regular season with no suspension. So they levied their power in their conference to basically take out an opponent that they didn't like. Now, mind you, for those of you who are like, yeah, Michigan bad, Michigan should not have done this, Michigan bad. Well, there was also some other Big Ten teams that orchestrated a cahoot to steal Michigan signs. So while although we look at it as Michigan did something bad, there are other Big Ten schools now that have done something bad. You have now set a precedent. And in my opinion, I feel like every school that was involved, their head coach should now be suspended for the regular season. If Ryan Day was involved, or if Ohio State was involved in that, guess what? Ohio State's now without Ryan Day for the Michigan game. You're making it level playing field. You've set a precedent now, Big Ten. You've done it. So now what's going to happen if Michigan pushes back? What if Michigan says, hell no, we're not going with this suspension? Jim Harbaugh is going to be on the field. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because Michigan is also one of your best chances to win a national championship. And you know how much money that's going to bring the Big Ten? So the Big Ten has pretty much shot themselves in the foot. Now, my question is also, does the Big Ten Conference now try to run some sort of scheme with their refs to basically give Ohio State or any of these other teams, Penn State, that have to play Michigan now in the coming weeks, the game? Because we've seen that happen in the Big 12 with Oklahoma and Texas leaving to go to the SEC. What if the Big Ten does something like that? Now are we in retaliation mode? Now, my thoughts here on the whole Michigan sign stealing stuff. Michigan broke the rules. They should get in trouble. I don't agree with the way that it's being handled right now. I don't agree that you should have schools in your conference deciding whether or not a player or a coach or a school should get in trouble for any rhyme or reason, especially if it's already under NCAA investigation. Because at this point, the investigation is not complete. But at this point, does it matter to complete the investigation? Michigan has now been penalized. And so I'm kind of scratching my head and I'm asking myself, does the investigation matter anymore? Because I personally don't feel like Michigan should get any more penalization off this. They've already been penalized. They've gotten their punishment. They're going to deal with it. Now, I don't feel like the NCAA can do anything. Connor Stalions has resigned. I don't think any proof that Michigan or Jim Harbaugh knew about what Connor Stalions was doing. I mean, Michigan as a whole probably did, but not Jim Harbaugh. So this is going to be interesting to see how the rest of this plays out. I don't think this is good for college football, but I don't know what you can do at this point to clean it up. Because now you've set a precedent that a conference commissioner can be ran by the schools in his own conference and told what to do and to hand out punishments to their opponents. Mind you, we all know Ohio State was probably in this. We all know Penn State was probably involved in this. Don't they have to play Michigan over the next couple days? You get my point? They just gave themselves a competitive advantage to win this game, just as Michigan tried to give themselves a competitive advantage to win this game. Now, sign stealing, it happens all the time. I mean, you even heard Baker Mayfield talk about it I think it was last year, when he walked into the locker room and he said, "Hey guys, I know all their signs," right? And they came out in the second half and they were able to torch. It happens all the time with offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. They figure out the signs. So, I mean, I don't feel like sign stealing in that manner is as big of a deal. What Michigan did, since it's against the rules, is wrong. But also at the same time, I saw this cool technology that was talked about, and I guess they were going to test it out at Ivy League schools, where your helmet now has, and I believe there's even a commercial out there for it, and they're doing it for deaf players. But basically, there's this little screen right here in front of the quarterback's eye, and it can project the play call from the coach in the sideline. Why can't we implement something like that in college? Why can't we implement earbuds or something into the into the player's helmet that allows for the coach to be able to communicate directly with the player? Then you don't have to have all this stupid stuff on the sidelines where you've got 3 different guys in colored shirts giving different signs and doing whatever else, and then having big billboards with pictures on it. Make it more simple. Make the game a little bit more simple for these players. So, guys, I want to hear what y'all's thoughts are around Harbaugh being suspended by the Big Ten for the remainder of the regular season. Obviously, I know you guys are probably not going to agree with Michigan stealing signs, so I'm not going to ask that question. However, if you do feel differently, you can let me know. But I want to know if you guys agree with the way that this has been handled by the Big Ten, and if you agree with the suspension that's been handed down by the Big Ten to the University of Michigan. But if you guys have not already, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, jump down in the comments below, join the discussion, and let me know your thoughts.